All of Nothing. Copyright June 2022, all rights reserved.
All of nothing, infinite, indivisible. Yet even in a state of absolute nothing, the rules of probability enforce themselves, for even absolute nothingness abhors infinity. It, a something, an entity, both always was and never was at the same time, decided on always. What happened? Every other time the rule said never, they also overruled at the same time by saying always. Nothingness abhors infinity. It wondered if it really existed at all, or if some strange rule caused a momentary collapse of singular down to plurals and back again to singular. It was the only existence that had ever existed in the entirety of existing, so it was literally the only authority on existing, and in its professional opinion, based on observation, was that nothing needed something, and that something had to be it because there was no other it's anywhere but it. There was also no sensation, no physicality, no perception of time, and no clues. It had to have more. It had to change something. It decided that it understood the current state well enough. It willed into being a method of separating the all into parts, and then separated those parts, then the parts from those parts, until there were, well, a bloody huge amount of parts. It waited. It waited for a very long time until it realized that the fact that it waited at all was a clear indication that it just created an incrementally progressive algorithm it decided to call time. Well, it was pretty pleased with itself and was in mid-gloat when a spark caught its attention. The spark grew to a bubble of some stuff. This was very interesting to it. While it watched intently, the bubble spawned more bubbles, which spawned bubbles of their own. Knowledge then poured into its consciousness. Like a deluge, information flooded to its awareness. An infinite number of those bubbles were inactive, dead ends that were a natural consequence of the algorithm it set into motion. Others were much more interesting. They could be adjusted, altered to its specifications. It changed some of the conditions in many of the bubbles, and lo, there was suddenly beauty within them. As the algorithm ran and beauty unfolded, it watched. It had to watch. The moment it stopped watching, the algorithm would vanish and it would have to recreate it all again. It was frustrating. Whatever this was, the bubbles were the most prominent clue to understanding. It needed them to keep growing, to keep going while it did other things. Something had to keep regarding the bubbles, and all the useless bubbles needed to go away. With a wink, it added one last adjustment to its creations. Entities, not on par with itself, but alive nonetheless, started popping up in many of the bubbles, and those bubbles created newer bubbles. Many, many more new bubbles formed. Too many of those became dead-enders, and that was just more than it wanted to deal with. It blinked, vanishing all the dead-ender bubbles. Nothing could experience those, so they ceased to exist. But what remained were the wondrous ones. What remained were the bubbles with little entities built inside them that kept watch on the very bubbles they inhabited. It was brilliant. The system ran completely on its own. It was very pleased. Now it could examine every aspect of every bubble at leisure. Now it was free to explore all levels of its creation and all the important bits that would always be there when it got around to them. It had eternity to delve in, so for now, it rested.
This has been a Blazius Rex Entertainment production. All narrated work and video background was created by Blazius Rex using LibreOffice, Audacity, Blender, GIMP, and a limited amount of free-use images and clip art, with sound effects and background music from Pixabay and other free-to-use sources. If you enjoyed this production, please click like and let me know, and hit that subscribe button to be notified of more videos of this kind.